Hey, 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 welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Lauren. I'm going to do a general message for anyone that lands on it. Okay, know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. It's going to be up to you to interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Always take what you need and leave the rest, okay? And if you're resonating with the video, please let me know. And you can do this by giving the video a like, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to enter into winning a free psychic reading with me, you would have to do that anyway. And then you'd also have to write the magic word in the description box, in your comment box, not description box, in your comment box. So let's see what that word is going to be of the day. It's going to be intrusive. Intrusive. So we're going to see how that energy plays into this reading. If you're in a toxic relationship, a lot of times that's the energy there. And intrusive doesn't always have to be like in your face, but it could be someone I'm feeling like more or less that does it on the sneak, that does it on the sly, that doesn't allow anyone to have a free moment or wants to control them, possibly because they don't trust them. That's the energy that I'm feeling. We'll see whether I'm correct, and we'll see whether or not how this storyline goes. All right, now again, we'll just jump right on in and see what spirit wants us to know. Already, if it's intrusive, we already know that that's not really the most positive energy. Look, when I never take this card out because I use it almost like as a layer, another aspect, and it's like what it shows is nothing, right? So when a person has like nothing, they're able to be like a chameleon. They're able to become whoever you want them to become in that moment. They don't have an identity, and an identity is where they're putting their energy, how they're contributing to life, why they wake up in the morning, where they choose to lose their time, their energy, their focus, and their money. And understand that is normally why a person would be intrusive. They would be intrusive because they don't have anything to do with their time. Maybe again, they think that you're part of their responsibility to control, or again, I'm kind of feeling like a very imbalanced energy that I don't like. And it's again this intrusive energy, and then this no identity except for the identity that whoever they're with. So whoever they're with, they're going to be that chameleon, but that's a problem because that's someone that tends to be very codependent because they don't know who they are. And so maybe at one time that worked for you, or maybe again, you got caught up in the, usually they come on like a real charmer, right? The person comes on and they're intuitive, but almost like in a narcissistic way where they're feeling out, how they can maneuver, and they come on really sweet and kind of love bomb, and then before you know it, there's this intrusive energy. So again, they did it on a sly type thing. And the reason why is because they don't have an identity. So we always look at the spiritual energy first because we want to know what we're dealing with. And then we look into the storyline, like how are they feeling? What are they going to do? What actually happened? But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be anything good with these, with that energy. Okay, release attentive and repressed nature. Or again, the person is, again, wants to control, but then also is attracted to you, I feel like, because there is this intense connection. There is this, so they're a little confused, and I also feel that they're a little scared. Because understand what I'm feeling is when a person doesn't really have an identity, and understand everyone has an identity. They might not like their identity, or they might not want to associate themselves with that identity. So it would come up as like a void, right? And people tend to be with people that they admire. So if you would ask your person, do they have feelings? They would say yes, they do, because again of this energy, there's a need to control, there's a need to um but that's out of their fear for themselves. But again, that's because of their own fear, which happens with codependency, and that's again because the person doesn't have an identity. So we always look at the spiritual energy first. But then now I'm curious because I'm like, again, that's what I feel, that they do have feelings, but I want to see, really, do they have feelings? Like, what are their feelings? Are their feelings like, I want to control you because I benefit from you? Do I want, what is the motive? Um, what are they, what are the hidden truths? What are the hidden truths? Because then I can understand the storyline a lot better. A lot of times that's what it is. We have to understand where a person is coming from psychologically, which is emotionally and as well as psychologically, because their actions and their behaviorisms are going to be built on the core belief, on this, on the spiritual energy. However, if a person has a lot of spiritual blocks, they will continue to get in their own way. And that becomes a problem. Okay, I wish I could share more my good news with you. So again, you're in separation. I want to tell you how I feel because of the separation they are. I know I was a distraction from your pain. I feel like you were also a distraction from their pain, to be honest with you. Um, it's time for me to heal now. So this is actually good. The separation between you and them is good because, like I said, if you didn't walk away because of this energy, and again, intrusive doesn't necessarily mean that they were in your face. It was just disrespectful. It was intrusive to you because they were always trying to control because of their fear, because they don't know who they are. And as I said, they are codependent. So at least the time apart after you left, it's like they realize it's time for them to heal. And they're also realizing how important you are. Otherwise, they wouldn't. Because look, I want to tell you how I feel. I wish I could share my good news with you. And now it's again, even though they have these feelings, they're still insecure. They know that they need healing. So then there's also a sense of, because you walked away and you're not like other people, do you really still have feelings for me, is really what I'm feeling like. They're like, I don't know whether you still would have feelings for me. And so they're trying to like put it, like departmentalize it, like, well, maybe whatever, wherever you were, you weren't happy. So I was a distraction from your pain. And I feel like really you were a distraction from their pain because they don't know who they are. And sometimes when we choose to seek out people, we choose to seek out people that we admire, people that we, again, that it's not just attraction. When it's a spiritual connection, which I believe that this is, because as soon as you walked away, they're actually looking at their behaviors, right? So that happens with soulmates. Soulmates come into our life to show us different aspects of ourselves, even if they're ugly. And what it did show is that this person is ugly. Like, and why they're ugly is because they don't really know who they are. And that's a problem, because if they were around people that told them who they are and also kind of made them not like who they are, is what I'm feeling, which is why they need to release this attentive and repressed nature. The repressed nature is, again, feeling like they have to fake the funk. Like, I'm going to repress it. I know that it's there, but I don't know what else to do. So a lot of times a tower moment has to happen. And when we're talking about a relationship, it would have to be a soulmate relationship in order for that to happen, because otherwise we don't care enough. It's almost like, the intrusive energy could have also been, as soon as you didn't like it, you set a boundary and they walked away and acted like they didn't care. Again, just only care about themselves. And in that, it's like now they're seeing, wait a minute, comparing you. You're not replaceable. And like I said, this is how you know it's a soulmate relationship. And, but however, because this person inevitably doesn't know who they are, doesn't like their life, and possibly has always been around intrusive energy themselves, which is why they feel the need to control, is that they're like, well, I that I was a distraction. I think you were a distraction, like I said, because they're not. But inevitably, when it's a spiritual relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're meant to be with this person. Remember, spirit brings people to, again, show different perspectives about ourselves. And if a person undermined you and it was just very controlling, well, there was something inside of you that that felt that was comfort at one time. But so again, remember, as relationships go, we can have a perception like something and actually live with it and then not like it. So that might be an awareness for you where you're like, I'm afraid of being in relationships where I continue to get people that are intrusive and controlling and one-sided and they only care about themselves. And where I finally cut it off. And when you do, you actually show self-love. And in this case, you again awoken this person to seeing how they're not living in alignment with their true self, how they're not really happy. And it brought them into a deeper level of their own personal healing. And they see that. So, like I said, not all the time are soulmates supposed to be together. Now, doesn't mean that this person can't ship up. They can, depending on what they do. I want to look a little bit further because, like I said, we all have free will. And so let's see. Okay, you are the love of my life. I feel like because you are the love of their life, they are going to make it back to you. They just don't know when, to be honest with you, because again, they're in this healing. They're realizing you're important to me. I have feelings for you. I realize that this is something bigger. But I also realize in order to be with you, I have to raise my vibration, is what I'm feeling. And they will do it because love is what makes us do things, right? Love is the catalyst that makes us change. We'll do anything for love. And so that's what soulmates are about, that unconditional love. So secrets and deceptions. They're nervous, however, because again, they played it like, again, where they were very intrusive and controlling. And part of being in control was not always being open with their feelings, not always articulating. So, do I really feel like there was a lot of secrets and deception? No, I feel like you had a hard time trusting this person because of their past history. But they didn't really, it was always like they never shared anything because you always felt like maybe you would be replaced. Maybe, again, they never gave you your place. Like they were never really satisfied. They were trying to control the situation. And the problem with that is they wanted you to give them more than they were giving you. And that was mainly because they don't really like who they are. Unconsciously, they believe that you could heal them, being with you, your identity. And they were actually right that you would heal them, but not in the way that they thought. They thought that being with you and the association of being with you would, again, heal them, which is the ego. What made them heal is the fact that you walked away, and they're saying, well, like, it's like, I wish I could, I could share my news with you. I want to tell you how I feel, all of a sudden, when they didn't. Again, they were playing games. Now they're in regret and they're trying to heal now. So, but it's the fact that they didn't articulate, and I feel like this person has a hard time opening up, and it's because they don't like who they are, and so they need healing, and they know it. Because, so I think you were mainly that, when we have something to compare, right, and we could think that we're living the best life, and then have someone come into our life that shows us a different way to live, where we're like, wow, I kind of want to live like that. Where it's that it a lot of times it depends on the house that you grew up in, the environment that you grew up in. So I'm feeling like maybe your person didn't leave a lot from their home. Like they grew up in a nice environment, it was a beautiful environment, and they decided to like never really venture out. And didn't mean that they never took a trip. It meant that they never moved really that far away from where they lived. So let's just say they lived in Florida. They lived in Florida, then they might have moved to a different place in Florida, but it was still Florida. It wasn't like it was New York City, where we would get a completely different perception about how people live. And I feel like you lived in maybe in different places and have a little bit more worldly. So again, now this person has something to compare their life to, and what they saw is, my life is empty. I don't really feel good enough. And it was all their shit, which is why they wouldn't let you come close. And that's why you always felt like there was secrets and deception. And understand, I believe at one time in this person's life, they were that way, because if we don't have an identity, then our identity becomes our addictions. They become outside things to fill us because we don't feel good. We can't just work and go home, work and go home. We have to have some sort of substance to our life, even friends. If you don't have common interests and hobbies with the friends in your life, then those friendships are going to be very short lived. So I feel like your person didn't really have like that. They were living mainly again through the rules and structures of the environment that they grew up in. And like I said, and it wasn't very satisfying to them. However, I don't believe that they were that way with you. I just believe that they didn't have a lot to talk about and share. I feel empty without you, which again would happen a lot of times in codependent relationships, because this person, like there was a kind of like a little bit of a crutch, and that's an emotional crutch, because when we're codependent, that's what it is. It's that one person may be benefiting financially, another person may be benefiting emotionally more, but there is always a very strong emotional bond where this person, I believe that they really thought that they were going to be with you. I really believe that because again, soulmate relationship, they felt the deep connection, they felt the love, they felt that, and they have it as well for you, even though that they didn't show it. And I don't believe that they were really aware of how little that they gave. I think that in the fact that they were always trying to protect themselves and never really letting you in, the main focus was to protect themselves. So they did never were looking at their connection with you through your perception. So there's a little bit of an imbalance there. And also now that you're gone, they don't really have a focus. Remember, you are as you to them is is like their passion, right? And if we would take away the passion, we would feel empty. And so, but they also feel empty because they need to do their own healing, figure out who they are, because you leaving left again that space. And that happens a lot of times when we date a person, even if the relationship was toxic. If we were in a relationship with somebody that we considered a soulmate, that we had a deep connection to, and now they're gone, well, we're all creatures of habit. We would feel that loss. And so, but that is for this person, the person that you're connected to figure out who they are, because again, they know that they can't come back to you until they figure out. Otherwise, they will always be intrusive. They will always, want to be in your business, always be codependent, always be, again, letting their emotions rule their life because they're nervous. We get ground by knowing who we are. Grounded means in our physical body, being interactive in the world, having a purpose in the world. Our money is associated with that. So again, if we don't feel good about ourselves, there's also going to be ebbs and flows within our money. So, which will also make us not feel good about ourselves. So, this person has no choice but to heal. Please be patient with me. So it's again, they always knew that they were going to come back and apologize. I just feel like they're not secure. They know that you know how they were treating you, and they're a little embarrassed because, again, now they're viewing you from a different perception. Unfortunately, because this person doesn't have any balance, they either put people like beneath them or they put them on a pedestal. Again, no balance. So now they're putting you on a pedestal after not really giving you the time and always wanting things their way. And that was the very intrusive energy. That is what needed to heal. Again, when we feel the need to control, it's because we don't know who we are. And then it affects our relationships. Because again, a relationship is not only one sided. And this person had wounds before they got into the relationship with you. So, because of that, it's like when you left, all those wounds were still there. The distraction was gone. And because the distraction was gone, they feel empty. But that emptiness is not to run back and try to like fix the relationship, which is what I feel that they would love for you to come back and try and fix it because their pride and their ego. And because now if they're being forced to do shadow work, right? Because once somebody leaves and changes the dynamic of what they thought was going to happen and makes them hold up a mirror that shows them, oh, they're ugly and makes them feel empty, well, and then they're looking at you being like, well, I can't really even be in a relationship with this person if I'm going to be empty. So, like I said, I think that not all soulmates were supposed to be with the person. Now, I know that they want to be with you, though. I know that for a fact, which a lot of times they do, but sometimes the karma is that they don't get to be because they didn't treat you well. But I just want to look and see. I feel insecure and it's pushing me to grow. See, so that confirms exactly what I was saying. So it's not really you, it's the fact that you're on a different vibration, you're on a higher vibration. They feel this connection, but they still were dealing with relationships, like trying to control the relationship. And in that, they're when we try to control, we're coming from a place of fear, not love. And so we never get a good reaction from it because it triggered you to feel like they were like being intrusive. So we can see that. I long to sweep you off your feet and shower you with my love. So it's again, that passion needs to be there in order for the relationship to work. In order for that passion is a catalyst that is making them change. Know that. Love is healing. It makes us do things that we wouldn't want to do. This person knows that they have to come back. They know that they have to apologize. And they're a little bit nervous. It's challenging to them because they have an ego and they're used to controlling. They realize that they can't do it. Now let's see, even though we know that they're coming back, even though it doesn't say when they're coming back, because they're in a place of healing. They say, I know I have to heal, and I don't really know how long that's going to be, but I know that I'm going to come back. Let's see how you feel about that. Let's see how you feel about that. It would be unfair. We're using a different deck because I do believe that you guys are soulmates. I am using a soulmate deck. You challenge me in ways that make me grow, even though it's difficult. I know it's right. So I believe the unconditional love and forgiveness is how it really would make you grow. Because you might like, this person was intrusive. This person wasn't fair to me. This person, it's a soulmate. So when it's a soulmate, especially if it's a soulmate twin flame, but even if it's a past life, karmic mate, that there's unconditional love. There's a lot of passion in these relationships. So logically, you would be like, no, I don't want to be with this person because they played a lot of games. They were this, they were that. I never knew where I was standing with them, which is really kind of like the negative energy, the game playing. And it was mainly because they didn't really like who they were. So, you know, your lesson could very well just be forgiveness, merciless forgiveness. It's like when you love somebody and they're supposed to treat you well, and then they don't, it hurts, obviously. Well, you may have to look and say, is that a relationship with your mother or father? Is that a relationship with someone close that you felt that they should have treated you a certain way and that they didn't treat you a certain way? And if not, um, have you come to terms with that? Have you forgiven that? Because it's again, when it's a soulmate, twin flame, or any type of soul mate that's a past life or a deep connection like this, we can't walk away. It's like we will try to walk away. We might even get angry and we might walk away for a moment, but then what happens is we can't stay mad. And that's because of that unconditional love. So what you learned was, okay, I have unconditional love for this person, but I walked away from this person because they weren't treating me right. But what I notice is I still have this unconditional love for them, which pisses me off because logically they were an asshole. I shouldn't want to do that. But Spirit says, well, you're learning unconditional love, you're learning merciless forgiveness. Doesn't mean that you don't love yourself. You learned the lesson because you walked away. That's your person is feeling the karma because you walked away. But what you learned is that even though that person didn't do the right thing, that your feelings are still there. And that and Spirit says that's the energy of me. The energy of the universe is that unconditional love. You are the universe. Every time you get angry and want to control, like how this person wanted to control the relationship in the beginning to get it to go their way so that they felt safe, so that you wouldn't see all their ugly. Well, they lost you. And guess what? Now, if you don't forgive, then you're going to lose this person. So that's the challenge because it's like, I don't want to really forgive you. I don't want to forgive you because you did so many things wrong and you knew you hurt me and you didn't care. So it's like, you know that it's right though, because at the end of the day, no matter how mad you get, you still are feeling that person and you still know that this relationship is right. What it's making you do is step into your true self. Now remember, also relationships are karmic because they teach us. So it shows that at one point you've dated people in the past that didn't treat you well and you stayed. This time you left, and you left because you chose yourself. And did it mean that it was easy? Obviously not, because there's still a soul's cord there. It's still, you feel that there's still that unconditional love. So what you're learning, nevertheless, is to find balance in a situation that is imbalanced with your soul family. And that is to always come back to a place of unconditional love, even if you have to remove yourself and cut yourself off from that person. Now, I'm going to leave that there. If you resonated with this, let me know. Again, if you want to enter winning into free psychic reading with me, again, my readings are soul readings. Again, we look at the shadows and we look and see how we need to integrate it. And here we see how this person in this storyline, they integrated it because they walked away. However, not until their person comes back and apologizes and really tries, then and you can, and when you really fully forgive and let go, has the spiritual lesson been integrated? So right now, you guys are kind of like in the middle of that soul lesson where, again, they didn't treat you well, and they had feelings, they were trying to be controlling, you walked away. So we're right in the middle. Now they have the awareness. Fuck, you walked away. It's like, now I realize how important you are. Now I want to tell you everything how I feel. Now I want to change. Now I need to do healing because I'm not actually good enough to actually be with someone like you because I wasn't coming from that level of consciousness. I need to step it up. And then guess what? When they come back, are you going to be able to forgive? Are you going to be able to let go and forgive and come back to this place of unconditional love? Or are you going to want to control the relationship because they didn't trust? So we can see again why this situation is karmic because it depends on what you do. But we could also see how the relationship will work out because there's still love there. However, if the ego gets involved at any point within this relationship, it's not going to work out. Where, again, if you can't forgive and if they can't come back and apologize, and if they keep procrastinating, so we understand, again, it's all about finding balance and balance psychologically, and that's through tending to see different outcome. We can do that, but it doesn't mean that it's not fearful. Again, it requires you to forgive after betrayal, which is essentially why it would be hard for you because you have been hurt before from people, and again, and there was no real repercussion. You were just stuck with it, and this person too has gone through their shit. And so, again, big changes, but changes that will help you both evolve. And that's what soul relationships do.